Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today live on December. I forgot the day again. I legit just had this talk with my viewers on Tuesday, December 16th. You know what? I might just stop saying the day. I might just be saying the date because at this point I can't get my act right. I just can't. For some odd reason, I cannot get my act right. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a great Monday night. Rockets fans, I'm keeping y'all in my prayers. Miami Heat fans, I'm keeping y'all I'm talking to God as we speak. But as we know, we had some great NBA games last night. We had a couple trending news topics. So today we're going to be breaking down a couple of the games from last night. My personal favorite games, obviously the nationally televised ones, because both of them were very, very competitive and a lot of fun. You already know who we're going to start with because, well, you're watching me, so you guys know Homer. And then we are going to end today's podcast with some true or false. I know the live crew loves when we do some true or false. So that's what we're going to be ending with today. All right. We're going to break down some games. We're going to talk about the even minuscule games, some of the things that happened there. And then we are going to end it with some true or false. It's going to be a group activity. So be sure to let me know who you believe true or false when we get to that point. Now, last reminder, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Live crew, if you're in the YouTube, subscribe and like the stream. If you're in the TikTok, I want to see 10,000 likes over there today. So keep double tapping that little phone screen y'all got over there. And Twitch chat, I'm going to need you guys to sit there, enjoy the show, and look handsome as y'all always do, because the Twitch chat doesn't need to do anything except enjoy the show. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to get started with today's episode. Almost 2 minutes. I think that's my goal for tomorrow's stream. It's to get that intro in less than 2 minutes. So not a bad start. Ladies and gentlemen, up first, we have the Pistons winning again. Cade Cunningham smoothly puts the Celtics to rest in Boston. And when I say this, I don't mean that lightly. Cade Cunningham is like listening to smooth jazz, you know? I see some people saying Cade Cunningham hoops the same way that J. Cole raps. I see that quote thrown out there a lot, and I don't agree. I think watching Cade Cunningham is like just sitting in the audience of a nice jazz, you know, just not being rushed by anybody. His nickname, Smooth Operator. It's truly just a sight to see. Me personally, I know I'm a Pistons fan, but in my 25 years, I'm 27, so I guess 20 years of coherently like acknowledging the sport of basketball, I've never seen a player quite like Cade. And I'm not saying that like as far as skill goes. I'm saying that as far as skill set goes. I don't think I've ever seen a player play at his own pace so effortlessly. Now, something that the commentators last night were saying, I think it was Noah Eagle, Austin Rivers, and some other bum that was sitting on the Celtics bench being biased as hell. My apologies. It's just, I hate nationally televised games because I'm not in Michigan, so I don't get the local channel anymore. So I have to hear the nationally televised guys just purely glaze the Celtics around the clock. With all due respect, I love the Celtics as far as like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, as far as they all go. But national television sits there and just glazes the hell out of the Celtics around any team that we're up against on national TV. The Pistons are, all we get called is they like to play this gritty sort of basketball. They want you to feel them. Shut up. During the third quarter, we saw interviews from Joe Mazzulla, head coach of the Boston Celtics. Then we saw an interview from Sam Cassell, the assistant coach of the Boston Celtics. And then we heard them talk about how good of a job their shooting coaches have been for Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard. And then we had to hear how good they're going to be with Jason Tatum. And then at the end of the game, when the Pistons were running away with it, they have to just squeeze in their Pistons talks. They have to squeeze in, oh yeah, and shout out to the Pistons for coming in and doing their thing. Are y'all serious? Noah Eagle, I like. I like Noah Eagle. I also like his father, Ian Eagle. I like the main commentator guys, but when you have two other guys on the benches, like in Austin Rivers, like the other guy, not going to learn that dude's name because he didn't talk about the Pistons out all game, except in the first quarter. Jaden Ivey came back. In case you guys don't know, Jaden Ivey has been out of the sport for 11 months. He has not been playing basketball in 11 months. He was recovering from when Cole Anthony, that dirty player, tackled him to the ground and broke his knee in half. Okay? So he is now still getting back to it. He also had a knee surgery on the other knee to clean out like whatever debris he had in his kneecap. Okay, so he has not played basketball in 11 months. And he came back about 2 weeks ago, and he's on a strict minutes restriction between 15 and 20 minutes every night. And I think last night was his most minutes he's played this season. It was 21 minutes. So that was the longest time Jaden Ivey has played, and that was the best Jaden Ivey looked in the second half. In the first quarter, that commentator that was sitting, you know how Peacock does that, like one commentator on the Boston bench, one commentator on the Pistons bench, and then Ian Eagle in the booth, right? The commentator on the Boston bench, when Jaden Ivey came in, now, he said it right when Jaden Ivey came in. He said, yeah, Jaden this season, he came back and he often looks lost on the court. I think he's still trying to get his feet under him. Okay? And then in the fourth quarter, when Jaden Ivey was actually playing prolifically in the second half, he said, man, see, this is what everybody's saying about Jaden Ivey. Look at how great he looks. Look at how great he looks. He's doing his thing. He's looking great. See, I told everybody at the start of this that it's going to be great. And it was like, dude, shut up. Some of us have been watching you all game, and you clearly didn't say that. Now, anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. The Boston Celtics started this game by hitting 6 threes in the first quarter. They ended up only getting 4 more threes for the rest of the game. Now, I told y'all the Boston Celtics need to hit minimum 15 threes to stand a chance in any game that they play of basketball, right? They hit 10, which means they lose. That's just basic math for the Boston Celtics. They need 15 threes minimum to be able to win a game. They didn't get that last night, so they lost. Payne Pritchard airballed a couple late game threes. Derek White airballed a late game 3, courtesy of Javonte Green's unbelievable defense. And I do want to say straight up, watching this game, okay, I could tell in the first quarter that Jalen Duren was not going to have a good game. I know as a Pistons fan, when Jalen Duren is, there's too many Jalens in this NBA. I can tell you in the first 5 minutes of the game, whether or not Jalen Duren's going to have a good game. Last night, I told my fiance right when the game started, Duren's going to have a horrible game tonight. Whenever people are grabbing him and fouling him and the refs aren't calling it, Duren he doesn't care anymore. It's like he's not trying anymore. Once they grab him, once they don't call a couple fouls, he stops caring. And this will clean up the more mature he gets, because Duren had 6 points and 3 rebounds. Duren didn't do anything this game. Did not do anything. Another player I want to talk about for the Pistons. Yeah, he just turned 22 2 weeks ago, so I'm really not worried about him. Another player I want to talk about the Pistons is while I'm talking about the negative players. Yes, he was a positive on the court, but I got to talk about Duncan Robinson. I'm not worried about Dunk. I'm not. I just saw a comment on TikTok saying Ivy looked bad. You didn't watch the second half. So I want to talk about Duncan Robinson very briefly. Duncan Robinson, in case you guys don't know, the Pistons were on a 13-game winning streak just a couple weeks ago in the NBA, right? And it got ended by the Boston Celtics. It was their game that made them click. It was their game that made them come back. And now the Celtics are one of the hottest teams in the league. You know, they won 7 out of their last 10. Or no, I think they've won 10 out of their last 13. And they were playing incredibly well. And they ended our win streak because they scored, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, they scored 76 points on Duncan Robinson in their last matchup. I'm going to repeat this one more time. They didn't score 76 points in a half. They didn't score 76 points from 3. They scored 76 points on Duncan Robinson in that last game against the Boston Celtics. Now, you're probably wondering, how did they manage that? The Boston Celtics do something that's very, very interesting, and it's really a championship pedigree move. They set screens to get Duncan on who they want. So Jaylen Brown is going to score this possession. Okay, keep switching. Cool, I got Duncan on me. Bucket or a foul, or bucket and a foul. And they did that all last night as well. So every time Duncan Robinson would check into the game, They were targeting Duncan Robinson like nobody's business. I believe they scored 55 points. I got to do a fact check after today's episode. I believe they scored 55 out of their 105 points on Duncan Robinson alone. That cannot work. The Pistons need an option at their number 2 because Duncan Robinson in the playoffs will get exposed just like this. Now, unfortunately for the Pistons, they have 0 shooting. They have no shooting on this team. And when the Celtics went into a zone, they started off slow. The Celtics went on a 14-0 run when they flashed that zone first. Then the Pistons started clicking and they beat the zone like an NBA team should, right? But with Duncan Robinson on the court, I was screaming at my TV, ripping my hair out, saying, JB, I understand Asar Thompson has had a very bad game. Asar had a horrible game last night. His stats won't tell you that. But watching the game last night, Asar Thompson he was 1 for 7 from the free throw line. He wasn't trying to get fouled. He wasn't trying to shoot. He wasn't trying to put a layup. He wasn't trying to dunk. Asar Thompson wasn't doing anything, and he was getting scored on offense, okay? That was until our bench lineup came in, and then in the first quarter, they sold it because they got thrown into a zone, and they sort of got stiffed. In the second half, I want to give a massive shout out to Jaden Ivey. I want to give a huge shout out to Jaden Ivey. If you're a box score watcher, you would say Jaden Ivey had an abysmal game. You would say that. He shot 4 for 11 and 1 for 7 for deep. He missed his first 4 threes, I believe, and then he knocked one down. In the second half, Jaden Ivey's defense was honestly the best I've ever seen from Jaden Ivey in his entire career. And I mean that, and I don't mean like just the best for Jaden Ivey. I mean great defense. Great defense. He was locking down Jaylen Brown, couldn't score on him. He was locking down Peyton Pritchard, forcing him to airball. He was locking down on Derek White. He played incredibly well. And they have to respect his three-pointer because Jaden Ivey, before this game, was shooting 42% from 3, just like he shot last year. He shot 43% from 3 before Cole Anthony dove into his leg and snapped it in half. Okay? Jaden Ivey is a damn good player. I love what Base just said in my Twitch stream. He just needs more games under his belt. That's all. He needs to get more reps. He needs to get more minutes. He played his most minutes. Just so everybody's clear, Jaden Ivey still hasn't even played 100 minutes yet in this season. He's been in like 6 games. He's averaging about 14 to 15 minutes. So Jaden Ivey getting 21 minutes last night. Yeah, he didn't shoot that well, but he had a big and one in the fourth quarter, a reverse layup. His finishing is looking improved. He just needs his handle to tighten up and get better. Okay? That's all. Jaden Ivey, shout out to you. I got to give a massive shout out again to Isaiah Stewart. What this guy has been doing this season should not be going unnoticed. He only had 1 block last night, right? He had 1 singular block. Do you know how many shots he altered? They got Jaylen Brown and Isaiah Stewart got in a little bit of an altercation. They got in a little bit of an altercation, right? They both got double text and they moved on, right? As soon as Jaylen Brown started talking smack to Isaiah Stewart, Jaylen Brown didn't get a single bucket in the paint for the rest of the game. I'm not exaggerating. He went up and tried scoring on Isaiah Stewart for 4 possessions in a row in the fourth quarter, all of which were stopped by Isaiah Stewart. Whether Jaylen Brown tried passing out and got a turnover, whether he went up and just could not get past Isaiah Stewart, regardless, what Stu is doing should not go unnoticed. JB Bickerstaff came out and said he is the best defender in the NBA that isn't named Wemby, and it needs to be talked about more often because he's respected by the refs as far as when he jumps up for a shot, he is respected as far as defense goes. And defense like this wins championships. Defense exactly like that. Massive shout outs to Ron Holland, who could not stop getting called for fouls because he keeps reaching in. Javonte Green, journeyman in the NBA, has played for, I think, 7 teams. He's 32 years old. He came in 2 weeks before the offseason, 2 weeks before training camp. And Javonte Green coming in and doing his thing. When I tell y'all that Javonte Green all year has been consistent, he's been consistently shooting decent, I think 33%, which is okay. It's another option to stretch the floor. Javonte Green is also a dog on defense, an absolute dog. He's arguably our best defender on the perimeter. He had multiple steals exactly like the one that you're seeing on the screen. Javonte Green truly fits the Detroit culture, and I think this guy deserves a lifetime contract because he has been absolutely beautiful all season long. Okay? Again, I see some people in the TikTok calling Jalen Duren trash. I see people talking about Asar Thompson being trash. I see all of this. You guys watch too many box scores, okay? Because as somebody who is a devout Pistons fan, as somebody who watches every second of every single game, I can tell you outright that Jalen Duren sometimes looks involved, sometimes he doesn't. That's why he didn't get extended. Just so everybody can understand, Jalen Duren had the opportunity to get in his rookie contract extension last summer, and the Pistons did not extend him. So this is why he did not get extended. Everybody tells us that, oh, Pistons, they're idiots. Jalen Duren, you're a Laker. You're a Laker, Jalen Duren. Guys, he does these stretches a lot where he goes 25-10 for a month straight. And then for 2 weeks, he can't get his feet under him. This is what Jalen Duren does. He is 22 years old. He just turned 22 years old 2 weeks ago. Be easy on him. Asar Thompson, 22 years old. Be easy on him. Him and his brother can't shoot yet. They will. Okay? Jalen Duren is still the strongest player in the NBA. He still bullies everybody down low. Unfortunately, when he doesn't get foul calls, he starts being lackadaisical. I think the Pistons are going to start shortening the rotation here in a bit. Caris LeVert hit some huge shots at the end of this game. Like I said, Javonte Green, some huge stops in the NBA, or in the fourth quarter. He was huge. Asar even got benched for Javonte Green because he was having that bad of a game. Would you believe throughout this entire thing, I still have not talked about the smooth operator Deuce Cade Parker Cunningham? Do y'all realize I still haven't talked about their Pistons superstar? I still have not talked about him. 32 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, double-double. That's basically his averages for the season. Shot 11 for 21 for the field. He hit 5 threes, his most this season. When I tell y'all that Cade Cunningham, the way he operates and the fact that he just cannot be rushed by anybody in this NBA is truly a sight to see. Because when I tell you guys, watching Cade, and as smooth as he is, everybody, like, he sealed this game. The entire end of this game, I said, Cade, do not pass. Cade, do not pass. You need to bury this. And he does. And he does it every single time. He does it every single time. Oh, I was just corrected in the Twitch chat. Shout out to Jay. He said Duren is not stronger than Steven Adams. Correct. You got me. As far as best figure, best sculpted human being in the NBA, I'm going Duren, though. That dude is one handsome. Nobody's going to deny that. If you deny that, then you don't know ball, bro. Jalen Duren is one of the most handsome people in all professional sports. I think we can all agree on that. Now, I see people saying, why is Tobias Harris getting 11 shots? He missed every single 3 he put up last night. But I can tell you right now, again, people who disrespect Tobias Harris, do not watch Tobias Harris. He is truly the stabilizer for this Pistons team. When the Pistons need a bucket, we go to Tobias, and he gets it in the post, and he gets us a bucket. Unfortunately, his three-pointer has been rough this season. But Uncle T has been one of the key turnarounds for this Pistons team. So anybody that disrespects Tobias Harris are going to have to come through me, because what he's done for this Pistons squad and helping them turn it around, especially from last year, Tobias Harris has been an incredible basketball player for the Pistons. The only reason he gets flack is because what Jimmy Butler said, and because he had a big contract in Philly that, mind you, Philly gave him. It's not Tobias Harris's fault that he got offered a big contract. Watch Pistons basketball, especially last year in the playoffs in the first round against the New York Knicks. Tobias Harris was doing it. Now, I will be honest. It's time to start Stu. It's time. Tobias Harris needs to come off the bench because Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren have the highest plus minus as far as a starting front court goes in the NBA. Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart need to play together. They stretch the floor. Isaiah Stewart stretches the floor and allows Duren to get mixed into the paint. Jalen Duren's biggest weakness is that there is no spacing on the court. There is no spacing on the court. For anybody that says if you start Stu, your bench is going to be absolutely garbage, Javi, I would like to respectfully disagree with you, because you have dogs like Javonte Green, like Ron Holland, like Caris LeVert, and like all these players who come off the bench and give energy to this Pistons squad. You can play Paul Reed as well, who Paul has been incredible this year as well. I'm talking way too much about the Pistons Celtics, so I have to unfortunately move on. There's not much to say about the Boston Celtics other than they did not hit 15 threes, so they lost the game. That is all it comes down to for the Boston Celtics. If they do not hit 15 threes, they lose. If they had Jason Tatum, of course, this game could have gone differently. I got to be honest as well. The Boston Celtics were hitting some tough-ass shots this game. I'm talking like tough-ass shots. Jaylen Brown also getting 14 free throws. Most of them not deserved. Somebody needs to teach Cade how to draw fouls, how to exaggerate contact, because there's no reason Cade Cunningham, for as often as he drives to the hoop, is averaging about 5 free throws a game. There's no reason that somebody that gets to the hoop as often as he is only getting 4 free throws. Everybody credits Cade Cunningham for being as nonchalant. Oh, he's so nonchalant. Oh, he's so smooth. Pistons fans hate how nonchalant he is. Just so y'all are clear, we despise how nonchalant he looks, but other people love how nonchalant he is. It's crazy. Cade Cunningham got called for a technical foul this game because he actually complained to the refs. He screamed at them. And this happens every year. Cade ends up snapping. Do you guys ever see Cade Cunningham show any sort of emotion on the court? When he snaps at a ref, you know the officiating is bad. We'll be talking about officiating later. Don't you worry, especially later after this game. Let's move on to the night game. The Houston Rockets versus the Denver Nuggets. Now, ladies and gents, I'm just going to come out right and say this, just so nobody gets their feelings hurt, okay? If that foul call was called against my Pistons, I would be sounding exactly like all of you Rockets fans out there in this world. I am sorry. It should not have come to that point, okay? It should not have came to that point. My issue is that the Denver Nuggets are missing 2 starters. They're missing Christian Brown. They're missing Aaron Gordon, right? And I think they're also missing Julian Strawther. Yeah. The Rockets are missing Tari Eason, Fred VanVleet. You can't even count Fred VanVleet, just so we're all clear. That's like the Celtics saying, "Oh, if we had Tatum." No, you can't say if we had that player, because you are missing them all year. That team has been playing without them all year, so you can't count Fred VanVleet. And they've also been missing DFS all year as well. He has not played a game. Tari Eason essentially all year as well. He only played like 5 games. So this is the Rockets team. This is the Rockets team. Who they have now is the Rockets team. It's not like Tari Eason's going to come in and start dropping 30 points a game off the bench. I would like to just say, first and foremost, that foul that they called on Amen Thompson tripping THJ, if that had been called on the Pistons, like I said, I probably would have had an aneurysm, because you don't call that, man. You do not call that kind of foul when the game is decided by 1 point. In case you guys don't know, Amen Thompson, his foot grazed Tim Hardaway Jr.'s calf, and he fell in the middle of an inbound play. The refs called the foul. They challenged it. They upheld it because it wasn't marginal enough to change it. Jamal Murray steps up to the free throw line because it was a foul. It was a dead ball foul. Jamal Murray hits the free throw. Game gets sent into overtime. Okay? In my unprofessional professional opinion, Tim Hardaway Jr. was already falling. He was already falling. And when they called that, the game flipped. The Nuggets turned it on in overtime, and it was over. It was over. As you can see, I'm showing the foul call right now. That's what they called a foul, and they ended up reviewing it, and they did not change it. So I just have to repeat myself again. When you have these kinds of calls, you cannot call them at the end of the game. That changes the outcome, right? Now, whether you agree that it's a foul or not, my call is you just should not call something like this if it's going to decide a game. Okay? The Denver Nuggets move on into overtime and outscore the Rockets. And I got to say something that might get some people very upset, especially if you are a Rockets fan. Yo, what the hell is what did you guys get Kevin Durant for? What did they get Kevin Durant for? I do not understand why the Rockets traded all of this for Kevin Durant. He's going to get you 25 points. But is he going to win you basketball games at age 37? I don't think so. Why did you guys go out and get him? If you're not going to use him in the fourth quarter and overtime, he attempted 1 shot. in the last 17 minutes of this game. How do you allow this? How do you manage this? Why did you get Kevin Durant? He doesn't want to shoot the ball. I fully agree with Mark in the Twitch stream. He doesn't want to shoot. I feel like he's just looking for Alperen Şengün, who triple-double, 33 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. I do not understand. He does not want the ball. Watching this team, you cannot call Kevin Durant washed. Javi, you're on a roll in the TikTok stream. You are just saying dumb comment after dumb comment. If you're in the TikTok stream, be sure to swing on over to the Twitch stream. Kevin Durant is still efficient. He's still shooting 8 for 14 from the field, but he has not been aggressive. It just does not make any sense. Why is Alperen Şengün the one that's getting the ball at the end of every single game? Fourth quarter, overtime, Alperen Şengün is getting the ball. You're telling me Alperen Şengün gets the final shot of 2 seconds in the game? Not Kevin Durant? Why is Alperen Şengün attempting 27 shots and Durant is attempting 14? Is he just worried about his efficiency? I don't know what's going on here. And I got to say something as well. I don't know. I hope this doesn't sound like racist to anybody, right? But what is up? Now, of course, American and Canadian players do this the same thing. You know, they all do this, but I hope this doesn't sound racist. I'm going to say it anyways, right? I don't know what's up with international players and complaining to refs. Is that how they were brought up where they were at? Let's look at Deni Avdija. He's from Israel, right? Complains every second. Let's look at Alperen Şengün. He's from Turkey. Complains every second. Luka Doncic from Slovenia. Damn, I'm actually good. I can't believe I know all of this. Luka Doncic complains every single second. I mean, hell, look just up at our border. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Canada, complains every second. What is going on here? Now, of course, like, you can bring me American players, James Harden. You can bring, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can do this all day. But it's just the elite. Hell, let's even throw Nikola Jokic in there. He complains all the time. I just don't. Alperen Şengün's been pissing me off lately because he's a really good player, but I feel like I'm talking about Luka Doncic right now. Hell, even Embiid, you're right. I feel like I'm talking about Luka right now because the way that this dude Alperen complains to the officiating all game, every game, it sort of pisses me off, man. It really pisses me off because I know you're a great player, but sometimes you just got to shut up and play basketball. Genuinely. Like, I'm saying this as a Pistons fan. I'm saying this as a Cade Cunningham fan, right? This was the first time Cade complained to the refs all season. He got a technical foul. What? The first time a player complains about officiating and you give him a tech. I would love fair treatment around the league. Alperen is in the ref's face all game. Luka is in the ref's face all game. Literally doesn't get back on defense because he's in the ref's face still. All these players complain. But the minute a Piston does that, tech. It doesn't make sense. And at the same time, Alperen Şengün should not be getting 27 shots to Kevin Durant's 14. Hell, Reed Shepherd off the bench. 17 attempts. You're telling me Reed Shepherd is getting more shots than Kevin Durant? That's what you're trying to tell me, right? Reed Shepherd. Now, with all due respect, Reed hit some nice shots last game. At the end of the game, he hit some nice shots. But something I'm paying attention to is, why is it that Kevin Durant is not demanding the ball? Why is Kevin Durant arguably the most talented scorer in NBA history not shooting in the fourth quarter and overtime? It's not making sense to me. So, for all of my Rockets fans that are very pissed off from that game last night, you guys are pissed off at the wrong ideology here. You guys should not have to rely on the referees at the end of this game when you have a 37-year-old Kevin Durant shooting 65% from the field and afraid to shoot more. Is this an efficiency thing? What is this? He's been doing this all year, y'all. Just look at his stats. You can look at his stats this year. He's shooting 50% from the field, averaging 25 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, almost a block. His true shooting is 62%. Hell, let's just look at his attempts. Look at his attempts. He's been doing this all year long. Let's see. Where's field goal attempts? He is attempting. There it is. He is attempting 18 shots a game. 18. What's going on? Durant. Who cares about the 50, 40, 90? We need you to shoot. The Rockets ended up falling in overtime because their play every time is to give it to Alperen Şengün. So unfortunately for the Rockets, I got to be honest, you can be upset at the officiating all you want. This falls on your star because if you're getting outdone by Jamal Murray and Jokic and friends, unfortunately, that's going to be the outcome of every single game. Hopefully, I see this comment in the TikTok from Mir. He said, come playoff time, he'll demand it. I hope so. I hope so. That's going to do it for that game. I don't know what more to say. They lost to Jokic, Murray, and friends. Nobody else did anything for this team. With all due respect, Jonas Valanciunas did pick up 6 fouls. Jokic fouled out of the game. Payne Watson fouled out of the game. I think one more person fouled out of the game, right? And Valanciunas and Jokic and Payne Watson, they all fouled out. No, Watson didn't foul out. Whatever. Their best player fouled out of the game and y'all still lost. Yeah, Payne Watson got hurt. Thank you. Good call. Thank you. I was wondering why he wasn't in the game. I forgot. Now, I would like to say, the free throws battle, it's pretty close. You can't say it was for free throws, okay? 33 free throws to 26 free throws. Hit your free throws. The Rockets missed 7 of them. They shot 73% from the free throw line. Hit your free throws. Everybody wants to insult Ausar Thompson as if he's like that much different than Amen. Amen has been playing about 16 more minutes a night than Ausar Thompson. And yet they put up this relatively the same amount of stats. Okay. So let's just stop pointing fingers. Y'all can't shoot. This is how it is for a team that can't shoot. I mean, y'all can shoot, but y'all don't shoot a lot. They shouldn't have been in that position to rely on the referees to give them a call. They should not have been in that position. You have Kevin Durant and Alperen Şengün. You should not be in this position to need the referees to not call something. Okay. Now let's go over the last couple games from last night, but we're going to do sort of like a speed round here, y'all. We're going to do a little bit of a speed round. The other games from last night. Let's start, in Miami. Holy hell. Heat fans, I'm sorry. This is not looking good. And I called it. The Miami Heat should not have went on national television and explained their offensive scheme. Shouldn't have done it. Don't know why you did it, but you did it. I don't care if you don't have Tyler Hero. With Tyler Hero, you guys lose this game. Plain and simple. Tyler Hero was not going to solve this. Not at all. Miami Heat were 9 for 31 from deep, shot 29%. And Eric Spoelstra, I don't know what you're doing. I'm starting to understand why you've never won Coach of the Year. I'm starting to understand. You're starting Simone Fontecchio. I know Simone Fontecchio. I've told Heat fans, do not be fooled by this month. He starts seasons off hot and then sucks for the rest of the year. Guess what? Simone Fontecchio, 1 for 5, and he's been horrible. I'm getting told by the Twitch chat, his name is Mr. Miami. So he's not biased, y'all. Don't worry, he's not biased. He said, I am out of my mind because with Hero, they would have won. Hot takes for views. Yes, guys, I am a former video game content creator that needs to say hot takes for views. I am somebody that enjoys the sport of basketball. I am somebody that looks at the best in the sport of basketball. I do not look to insult anybody. But when I am seeing something clear as day, I'm not clip farming. This is my podcast. If you guys don't need to watch. If you don't enjoy me, then don't watch. Plain and simple. All I'm telling y'all is with Tyler Hero, they lose this game. Where needs to start? Jaime Jaquez, not 6th man of the year candidate. He is looking incredibly mid. He plays no defense. The reason why I'm using absolutes right now is because the Miami Heat have shown me who they truly are. You guys had a hot start, and that's okay to admit it. This is how it happens every single time I talk about a team critically. I get told I'm saying this for hot takes or whatever. You can't win with some fan bases. This is why you can't talk to somebody reasonably who has a fandom of a team. When you look at Jaime Jaquez, no defense. He was 5 for 9 from the field last night. People blame number 14, Tyler Hero, for not playing defense. I think sometimes you got to point the finger towards number 13 on the Miami Heat. And I hope Miami Heat fans are starting to notice this. Bam Adebayo defensively off ball has not looked good. He has not looked good. And I feel like nobody's talking about that. As somebody that watches almost all of the Miami Heat games, I understand their problems, right? I do not know what these rotations are. First of all, I hope Jovic gets better. I hope he gets better. Now, as far as the Miami Heat, I do have another segment for them in the true or false segment. But I do want to mention, I was a Pistons fan. In case you guys don't know, I am a Pistons fan. I have seen my team lose 28 in a row. I understand that. I know bad. And the Miami Heat right now, they're not bad, but they're also not good. Which is the definition of what in today's modern NBA, chat? What does that mean? What is the definition of not good, but also not bad? Mid. And you know where mid gets you in the NBA? Where does that get y'all? The play-in. The first month of the NBA, they had an offensive scheme. They were playing motion. They were playing motion offense, and it was working. And then they went on national television and told everybody, hey, guys, look, we're playing motion offense. And now everybody knows they play motion offense. And now they can't score on anybody. You're putting 96 points up on the Toronto Raptors. And see, now I unfortunately have to time somebody out of the Twitch stream because he is getting sensitive now that I'm talking about his Miami Heat. He said, most of y'all teams haven't seen a finals in a minute. LOL. Mr. Miami, I wonder who you're a fan of. Maybe the Sacramento Kings. Your feelings are showing. And this is why we cannot have a debate with people who are not even cooled and like-minded about their team's fandom. You cannot come in here and tell me you enjoy debates about your teams and then you just insult everybody else's team. I love a good debate and I study film, fam. It's all love, LOL. Most of y'all teams haven't been to the finals in a minute, but it's all love, guys. We cannot talk about this reasonably. And now I got to mute him from the TikTok. We cannot talk about this reasonably if you are blinded by your team's failure. You can't. You cannot have these conversations. Now, I can talk about what's wrong with the Miami Heat all day, right? I could. You could give them Tyler Hero in this game, and people can tell you that this isn't Tyler Hero's fault. Making the finals was the worst thing that happened to your team because now they believe that Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo can do it. Now, I still think at best, the Miami Heat could still be a 5 or 6 seed. I still think so. Now, whether or not they can make moves in the playoffs, no. I'm sorry, they can't. This team, they have the offense. They're still defensive efficient, but their offense right now just does not look good. And it hasn't looked good in weeks. And that's something that at that point, you do have to realize. I know it's still December, but this team is not screaming to me playoff success. This team is screaming to me that they don't have an identity anymore. Norman Powell wants pick and rolls. Tyler Hero wants pick and rolls. This team doesn't want to play emotion anymore, and it's not working. Bam is not the issue of this team. Their issue is that they lack identity. Thank you, Twitch stream. Thank you. They lack an identity. These players don't want to play this way, yet their coach is forcing them to play in this style. Okay? The Toronto Raptors, shout out to them. They did not play a good game either. So don't think that this is the hate Miami Heat hour. The Toronto Raptors did not play a good game. They didn't. But they were there defensively. They knew the Miami Heat's offense, and they stopped it. Plain and simple, especially in the fourth quarter. How much did they get outscored by? 32-19. I believe the Raptors went on something, I think it was like a 17-4 run or something in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter as well in Miami. That's how you finish this game off. In my professional opinion, I think at this point, you do need to make some moves if you're the Miami Heat. The Raptors, without RJ Barrett, they did enough to win, and that's what matters. They did enough to win. Ingram had a good game. Scotty Barnes had a decent second half. He did not play well in the first half. I think Scotty got his first points in the second quarter. So yeah, he did not do much in the first quarter whatsoever, but Scotty did his thing, man. He was attacking that zone and hitting those mid-range shots. It was a thing of beauty, honestly. I like watching Scotty Barnes play. Abaji didn't have that good of a game. Quickly came back. He didn't have that great of a game, but he was okay. He had a couple threes. And then their bench, you actually got energy from Grady Dick and Mamu, so it was okay. I mean, they were missing RJ Barrett, and it showed, but they just outplayed the Heat in every which way, man. They just outplayed the Heat in every which way. They stopped their offense from scoring, and then that's all you have to do against the Miami Heat and know how they play. That's it. If they're going to be starting Simone Fontecchio and playing him 26 minutes, and you're also playing, and you're closing the game out with Drew Smith, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You can't do that. You can't do that. Other games. Shout out Big Coop. We'll be talking about him later in the podcast. Actually, both these teams are going to be talking about him. Cooper Flag, 42 points in a loss. I have an interesting take. This was without Anthony Davis, just so we're all clear, and D'Lo. I just want to say something for Jazz fans, if y'all are out there somewhere. At some point, the Jazz are going to have to just take a discount for Lauri Markkanen. At some point, they're going to have to accept a trade. They're not going to get the 3 first-round picks that they want, but at some point, either they're praying that Lauri Markkanen is going to get injured this year, or they're going to accept a trade, because you cannot continue playing Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George with how good they're being. No, I'm saying this for a purely Jazz improvement sake. You guys are not going to make the play-in. You guys are not going to make the playoffs. You guys are also not going to get a top 10 pick. So at this point, you need to make a decision. Either trade Lauri because he's playing way too well, and just let Keontae George and Kyle Filipowski and Ace Bailey play for the rest of the year and just allow them to get better. Because right now, Lauri Markkanen is winning y'all too many games. He's winning y'all too many games. So Jazz fans, if I were y'all, this is not working. This ain't working. I don't like calling I see in the Twitch stream, a Wharf just called a 19-year-old who was born in 2006 hot trash. Do not bring that energy into the stream. You can keep that energy in the TikTok. Don't bring that energy in here. You're calling a 19-year-old kid hot trash. That's crazy. He was born in 2006. Bro wasn't even alive when the Miami Heat won their championship with D Wade and Shaq. And we're calling him hot trash. Let's move on to the next game with Grizzlies and Clippers. I have nothing to say except the Grizzlies, even without Zach Edey, have won 8 out of their last 11 games. Come on, man. They've won 8 out of their last 11 games. And it's not because of Ja Morant, 4 for 12 from the field. Cedric Coward looking good. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a big game last night. And then Cam Spencer off the bench was telling him, what were they telling the Clippers? Get this. Y'all need somebody else to guard me. Cam Spencer, Pat Spencer, love those guys. Love them. And then the Clippers suck. We'll be talking about them later. That's all I'll say. Okay, guys, let's move on. Now that we talked about all the games even briefly, wait, there's a Shams alert. The Indiana Pacers are signing forward Gabe McLaughlin to a 10-day hardship contract. Okay. I apologize for wasting your important, valuable minutes on that alert. Okay. Guys, I'm going to need your help now. Moving on into our next segment, which is called True or False. Guys, I need y'all help here. Okay. We have 4 things. We're going to be a little bit speedy here. Okay. Because the TikTok stream is unfortunately dead. So we're not getting many new people in the Twitch. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure now's your time to swing on into the Twitch stream. We would appreciate y'all very, very much if you swung into the Twitch. That's JZ Uncut on Twitch. It's a much better viewing experience over here, y'all. And I would also like to give a shout out to IC, who came through to the Twitch already, and Shampoo with the resub, as well as 5 gifted subs on Twitch. I appreciate you very much, Shampoo. If only you gifted those on Kick, because you just gave Twitch 40% of your money. Let's move on to true or false. Now, help me out, y'all. Help me out. This is true or false. I need your guys' help here, okay? Big shout out to Teddy Bear for coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you, bro. True or false? First one up. The Miami Heat are destined to finish as a play-in team. I know my answer. Whether or not y'all agree with me is different. They are destined to be a play-in team. Now, when you look at the standings, right, you sort of have to really pay attention. Philadelphia is ahead of them. The Cavs are ahead of them. The Hawks are ahead of them. And I think two of those three teams make sense. So when you look at the East, in my opinion, it could be the Pistons, Knicks, Raptors, Celtics, Magic, in no order, by the way, and Cavs. I think the Heat, yes, are destined this year to be a play-in team. I'm sorry. I do not think the Miami Heat are going to make any big moves. I do not think. And they've lost 5 straight. I know it's still early into the season, but I think the Cavs are still better than them. I think the Hawks are still better than them. So I just don't know. I just do not know. So at this point, we truly do have to look at this and start considering that the Miami Heat really might be just destined to be a play-in team. I don't see them making a big trade. So what more could we truly do here? I still think the Cavs and Hawks are better. And that's if the Hawks get back Trae Young or they decide to move him. I don't know. I just don't think that the Miami Heat are going to be doing a big trade. I think they'll be trading some role players. If Pat Riley isn't going to be stubborn, I just don't think they're going to make a big swing for something. So I'm going to head and go say, I'm going to say true. I don't like saying that, but I think that is going to be true because I still have the Cavs and Hawks above them. Let's move on to our next true or false. Help me out, y'all. True or false? Cooper Flagg will win Rookie of the Year. Now, I'd like to just show y'all something because this will make the debate a lot more interesting. Cooper Flagg, I talked about it, has been averaging in the last 15 games 21 points. I'll say 20.9 because it's funny when I show you the other one. 20.9 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 3.9 assists in his last 15 games while shooting over 50% from the field and 20-some% from three. But you also have Nipple in the last 15 games, averaging 20.8 points. So 0.1 less than Cooper, 4.7 rebounds, 1.2 less than Cooper. And then they're both averaging 3.9 assists. Virtually the same, except for Nipple is shooting less than 50% from the field, but he's shooting 40% from deep as a rookie on 8 attempts a game. This kid, I got to repeat myself. He is attempting the most threes than any rookie in the NBA right now. Ever. He's shooting more threes than any rookie ever in NBA history. And he's shooting 41%. 41%. He's also shooting 94% from the free throw line. I mean, this kid, 50, he's almost shooting a 50-40-90 as a rookie. I think it's so tough to say this, but I think Cooper Flagg, yes, it's true. I think Cooper Flagg will be winning Rookie of the Year. And I'll explain. Not based off what they've been doing, because if you base it off of what they've been doing, if the award was given out today, yes, I believe Nipple would be given Rookie of the Year. But this is a long season, and I think the Dallas Mavericks will be better than the Hornets. Not that that matters for Rookie of the Year. And I also think that politics are a real thing in the NBA. We all see it. A rookie that deserves playing time, but they can't play him over a vet, right? We all see it. Two-way player playing better than a $100 million player. They're not going to get minutes over them. It's politics. And I think the politics of the NBA, I think Cooper Flagg will get better throughout the year. And I think Nipple will also get better throughout the year. But I just think the politics behind Cooper Flagg, I think Cooper Flagg will be winning Rookie of the Year. I think it's true. He just dropped 42 points as well. I mean, the kid's They're both incredibly different. They're both incredibly entertaining. I think one thing we can all agree upon is that this rookie class, sheesh, man. I mean, I think the NBA is in good hands. I think the NBA is in good hands. True or false? The NBA has a major officiating problem. This really isn't a debate for me. But I wanted to make sure that I was right when I said this, because in case you guys heard me 2 weeks ago, I said I feel like the refs are calling way more fouls this season than any other season in the NBA. Okay, so we all know this is true, but how true is it? I'm going to show y'all something very interesting. I looked up on Reddit, and somebody 10 days ago. Reddit always shows you somebody that's dealing with the same thing. I was really curious as to how many foul calls. I'm not doing this fucking research. So last year, the NBA finished in the regular season with 45,700 total fouls committed in all 82 games. Now, this season, 10 days ago, so I actually went up and looked at how many fouls were called 10 days ago. So the NBA is up to 15,600 fouls. So just imagine this number is 15,600 instead of 14,400 in 23 games into the NBA. They are on pace for 51,371 fouls in today's NBA. That is over 6,000 more foul calls than last year. So I had a feeling that they've been calling way more fouls this year, and I was actually right. They are on pace at calling more than 6,000 more fouls than last year. The proof is in the pudding. The officiating has been absolutely horrible this year. So yeah, I wanted some hard concrete evidence, and we got it. Yeah, it's true. The officiating has been absolutely abysmal. Now, for my very last true or false segment, true or false, the Clippers are the worst franchise in NBA history. This is all up to interpretation. You could say the Hornets. You could say the Pelicans. You could say the Kings, right? The thing is, let's look at this as a little bit more off the court. Okay? Let's view this off the court. Okay? The Hornets have had unlucky picks with injuries. I feel like the Hornets have been unlucky as a franchise. They've been unlucky. The Pelicans have also, I think, been unlucky with all these injuries. Okay? Now, the other opportunities are the Kings, and I think the Kings have just been a horrible ran franchise. It's the difference. The owner's bad. Now, let's look at the Clippers. Think about the worst franchise. What I said, not success rate. Okay, so we can look at success rate. They haven't won anything. Okay? They've been competitive at times, but they've never won anything. Now, let's look at some things off the court. They just cut the face of their franchise and used him as a scapegoat as the reason why they're playing so bad. Chris Paul. They told him to go home. Okay? That's off the court. We got some more off the courts. The Steve Ballmer situation. That's under investigation right now, that he was paying Kawhi Leonard underneath the table through a tree company called Aspirations. They're under investigation for $40 million. Okay. Let's look at what they did to Blake Griffin. Steve Ballmer did a pretend jersey retirement for Blake Griffin because he's going to retire as a player who only plays for one career for one franchise in his entire NBA career. Then they traded him a month later to Detroit. Okay? We're still not done yet. Need I remind you of Donald Sterling, the openly racist owner who was calling the players slaves, calling them the hard R's. And he was forced to sell the franchise. And he's banned from all NBA arenas for the rest of his life. And I'm still not done. They also traded a generational player. Don't care if you're upset by me saying generational. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Pandemic P. They traded their whole future away. They made the strongest team that we've seen in decades because they wanted Paul George. Shout out Chris Kaman, though. One-time All-Star with the Los Angeles Clippers. Shout out Chris Kaman, the caveman. So, in my opinion, yes, it's true. The Los Angeles Clippers are the worst franchise in NBA history. The Hornets, they've had a lot of unlucky things happen to them. The Pelicans, they've had a lot of unlucky things happen to them. The Kings, their owner is just running them to the ground. If the owner doesn't care, then the fans shouldn't care either. And they don't. The Clippers, though. Am I right or am I wrong? And I know some people are thinking the Wizards and whatnot, but the Wizards they were rich back in the day. And again, I think luck. I think it comes down to luck with John Wall and all that stuff, man. All that stuff. I don't know. That's the way she goes. That's the way she goes. Ladies and gents, that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Special shout out to everybody watching in the YouTube and TikTok. I hope you guys come through to the Twitch stream. Twitch, stick around for just a moment. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. We have our final game of the NBA Cup tonight. And it's the San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks. It's going to be a very entertaining game. So I hope that y'all can go check that out. Watch that game tonight. It's going to be interesting. We only have one game tonight. So yeah, if you guys want to watch NBA basketball, I believe this one is on Amazon Prime. So be sure to go tune into that. Remember, this game does not count towards the standings. So if the Knicks win this, they're still 2.5 games behind Detroit for the number 1 seed. If they lose this, they're still 2.5 games behind the Pistons for the number 1 seed. And that also matters for the San Antonio Spurs because they are also in the mix for being a top 3 seed in the NBA as well. So if you lose this, it's all good. At least the players just made an extra $250,000. You know what I hate, by the way? Real quick, before we do end this episode, why are these commentators like Stan Van Gundy and everybody else saying, oh man, we know players like Lindy Waters III and Jordan Clarkson could really use that extra $500,000 because their contracts are much smaller than a Karl Anthony Towns or a De'Aaron Fox. Why are they trying to like guilt the audience and making us think that these guys are fucking, I just swore. Why are they trying to let us know that they're poor? They're not poor. These guys are still making $3 million a year from their contract. They don't need that $500K. Yes, it'll help them, but like they're minimum making millions a year. Why? Why are they doing this? No, I don't feel bad for Lindy Waters III. He's living my dream. I don't know about y'all. My dream was to be in the NBA and ride the bench and make $3 million a year. Hang out, vibe, go out to clubs at night. Fuck it. I keep swearing. Okay, let me. My apologies, y'all. I really don't swear on these podcasts. My apologies. No, I don't feel bad for Lindy Waters III. Keldon Johnson said, Keldon Johnson, why do you want to win the NBA Cup? And he said, I want to buy a llama. I looked up the price of llamas. They cost $300. These motherfuckers do not understand the concept of money. They cost $300. No, I don't feel bad for you wanting a llama. If you do get a high-end llama, they're about $3,000. But they don't understand the concept of money. And with that, we are going to end today's podcast. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. YouTube, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and be sure to tune into the Twitch stream. TikTok, we are also ending your stream. If you guys want more, be sure to swing on into the Twitch. You guys know we do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so be sure to tune in. And of course, if you do miss any of the episodes, you can subscribe. You can subscribe to Jay-Z Courtside on YouTube, as well as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Appreciate y'all very much. I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching / listening. We're still live on Twitch. Have a blessed day, everybody.